Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. So, today, gonna do a little bit more on this. I just kind of feel like... I still think it is something around the eyes that is just making it not look quite enough like her. And I'm also wondering if my glasses lenses are a little bit close together. So I'm gonna go check that right at the start here. So let's see, about how big does my brush need to be? Let's see here. Right about here. I have it a pretty good distance. If anything, mine are actually a little far apart. So it should be good there. There's just something a little bit off about the angle of the nose, I feel like, but I'm not quite sure what it is. So I'm gonna stare at this for a second, and I am just going to try to figure out all the little things that is making it not quite look like her. And so far, I've kind of narrowed it down to a few places. 1, I feel like the angle of the nose is off. 2, there's some stuff about the eyes that are off, so I think I'm gonna put in the eyelashes today. And 3, the shadows on the forehead are not quite right. I have mine going a little bit too far there, and I think it's making her forehead look weird, and that can actually affect these things more than you might think. Anyway, we'll see how far I get on this today. And we'll see if I want to do any more next week, or if I'd like to do another thing. Yes. That's kind of the nature of studies. I don't necessarily have to get it like one-to-one if I don't want to. I may or may not even like post this publicly. I get the feeling at minimum I'll probably post it on Twitter, but I generally only put finished things on other platforms. But I do feel like I have learned quite a bit here. I'm not quite sure how to articulate it. I will try. Just give me a second to kind of think about it while I stare at the nose here. But, yeah, trying to think about how to describe these things is actually surprisingly hard. I don't have the nose on a separate layer, do I? I don't. Okay, good. But, yeah, I think the big one is... I think what would speed me up the most is actually slowing down a little bit at the very beginning of the drawing. And taking time to measure things out a little bit more. And do that kind of thing. Just, you know, take it easy. I am not always very good at taking it easy. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I am very, very bad at it. As a person, I actually have very, very little chill. I actually think it's kind of funny that I went for more of a kind of relaxing sort of stream, as opposed to, you know, in contrast to what I feel like my personality is actually like. I think it says something about what I actually do want to do with my art, and, you know, maybe the answer is I gotta chill out a little bit. I will do my best. So next time I do a full illustration, we'll see how that goes. But I looked at the poll there, and character design firmly in first place, and the next thing is actually, you know, trying something new, which I said was probably going to be a little bit of animation and open tunes. So I might see about preparing something for that. So I guess I might have 2 character designs going on at the same time for a little bit. And I might even put up another poll today, because, well... No, it's like I'm thinking about it, but, this is where I'm wondering. Would you rather see me, like, personify another fandom character or something? or put together a design for an original character, because I have one that I've kind of been having floating around in my head, but I don't think I'm quite ready for it yet, so the timing didn't quite work out. But again, comments are helpful. If you don't know where to put it, just drop it in the post that I make for my schedules every week. I will even leave a note in my schedule for this week of just like, hello, if you want to see something, please tell me, because I don't always know what people want to see, and I do my best to come up with stuff. But knowing a little bit more would actually be helpful. And you are not putting undue pressure on me by making requests. It's all good. The only thing that would put undue pressure on me is if you get mad if I don't do it. Okay. I'm not sure what that little spot on her nose is here, but I've got it on mine again now. It got pulled out a little bit. Okay, and then I do feel like right here on this nostril, it is a little bit lighter than what I have. Just a touch. Right now it looks a little puffy compared to what's here. So I think that means that this dark part between them is also a little bit too dark. And then what's actually dark is the corner, just over there. But the rest of it is actually pretty light. Okay. Okay. So I think I'll leave that there. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more on the forehead before I go into the eyes. Just because I think that'll be the hardest of the three to do. And that's why I want to do eyelashes now, because I don't think I can get the likeness too much closer without actually getting kind of her eye makeup in there, since that is kind of affecting things. But overall, I do think that this is looking pretty good. Yeah. So I'm just gonna smooth this out a bit. I probably don't need to get it too smooth. I'm just making sure that the shadow's in the right place. And I actually feel like this part here is a little bit darker than what I currently have. Am I correct? I am. Yeah, over here is too. So I have the whole thing a little bit too light. Okay. Let's go ahead and darken it a little bit then. Just a little. I want to be very gentle here. So that was probably affecting the likeness a little bit as well. Or I just didn't quite have the light on her forehead right. It's actually amazing how much these little things can change what you see. Especially when things get this realistic. It's like when I'm just drawing an anime, the faces tend to be pretty flat. I could add more three-dimensional stuff to it if I wanted, but sometimes I do. Depends on my mood. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing about learning art fundamentals. The ability that lets you draw realistic like this is that you can do anything you want. You can take detail away, you can add detail, you can do anything. And that's kind of why I wanted to go back and revisit these things. I think off stream, once I finish the current thing that I'm working on, I am literally just going to go back and do some very quick practice on putting basic shapes in perspective and stuff to kind of help me remember how to do these things so that hopefully I can draw faces in perspective more quickly. The speed is extremely important to me right now. Because I have realized for a while I was feeling like, okay, I can finally draw all the things I want and it feels great. And now I'm realizing, once again, I can no longer do the things that I want to do anymore. It feels kind of bad, but, you know, it's okay. It is actually not the worst thing. Because the key word there is right now. Right now, I can't do all the things that I want to do. But I know what to do in order to get there. I know what I have to learn in order to be able to do the things that I want to do. And that's what's really important, because now I know exactly what to go practice. What's been giving me trouble with a lot of my writing endeavors is that I actually don't know what to do in order to get better. Or at least I didn't for a while. I think I do now. But it made it really, really hard to just go out and try to learn how to write. I didn't know what to do. So I just kind of kept flailing, and eventually something clicked, and now I'm like, ah, yes, okay. I think this is what I need to practice. For the record, what I need to practice basically amounts to chilling out. So I found that kind of amusing too. I say that because I think what was actually bothering me so much about my writing had more to do with not wanting to make something bad and spending a bunch of time doing it, because writing takes a pretty long time. It's like when I start a picture, I am at the point where I generally know within an hour if this picture is worth continuing or not. Or if I should start over and try something else. An hour might be a bit of an exaggeration. It might, but depending on the scope of it, it might take a little bit more than that. But for the most part, very quickly, I know that. This was not always true, by the way. When I was beginning, I did not have a feel for that. Anyway, forehead seems good. So I'm going to make a separate layer for the eyelashes here. Just so I can go back and redo it if I am so inclined. Okay, I can't zoom in this close and have both on the page at the same time. Alright. So I'll just do it out here. But anyway, to finish my thought, I know reasonably quickly if the direction that my picture is taken is going to be worth continuing. And I just do not have the intuition for writing yet, so I don't know, and so I think I was feeling really, really bad about potentially just not being able to convey what I want to convey, and I got a little obsessed with it. And I think it was just making everything turn out kind of bad. No, that's actually not the way to put it. The right way to put it would be, it left me somewhat paralyzed. Because it's like, I started putting something down and I'm just like, okay, I'm not quite sure if that's gonna work, and I feel kind of stuck on X, Y, and Z, and I don't know how that's gonna work, and I don't quite know where to take the plot from here, so I guess I'll just keep plotting about it for a while, even though I don't really know how to make it move, and lots of probably just basic beginner things. Okay, I was thinking I could do this with the hard round brush, but I don't think that's true. Just lots of basic beginner things, and it's really hard trying to do something new or what should I say? Move from what is essentially one medium to another, because most of my stuff, most of the writing stuff I did in the past was basically via forum role-playing. So I'm pretty confident in my ability to write characters and make nice settings and stuff, but when it comes to actually making them do something coherent, and actually put some, like, plot behind things, yeah, I got no idea. No idea at all. So that's kind of what I've been struggling with. So a lot of what I've been doing is just kind of incoherent, quick drabbles that I could write in like a day. Often unfinished scenes and stuff like that, and just trying to figure out how to connect them together, or how to push the plot away, and then sometimes my intuition says, no, something is wrong here, but I can't tell what it is, and stuff like that. So some of it, definitely beginner problems. Okay, when I look over here, I think I want to make this line against her eye here a little bit harder. And that's why lately I've been saying, you know, people who are trying to learn how to draw or, you know, whatever creative endeavor strikes you fancy, and it's hard, I feel you. I really do. That's okay. Today, I just watched some random painting stuff and I was like, man, somehow I'd forgotten that painting is actually really fun. That I should just derp around more. Ooh, this is actually really dark through here. Like, right underneath the eye. Okay, I should put that in. I'm pressing pretty lightly because I don't want it to get too dark, but I did see a very noticeable, very dark spot right here, kind of on top of the highlight of the eye bag there. So I should get that in. I really do feel like half a drawing is just learning how to see. Gotta get all these little things in there. And it'll look so much better once I do. Okay, and then there's this really dark line there. I'm amazed by how dark that is. I actually do not think that what I have here is nearly dark enough. I think it's maybe halfway there. Oh no, it's closer than I thought it was. Okay. It's only there that is just significantly darker. And then it'll get dark at the corner of the eye, which I think I have mapped out pretty well. If anything, mine is too dark. We got a really dark spot just like right here. Yeah, something like that. And then in the corner here, all of this is pretty dark too. I think these are about the same. This might be slightly darker. So if we have this and this, yeah, here is slightly darker. Maybe even more than slightly, actually. Okay. I think what I have there is just a little bit too dark. I'm gonna be going back and forth a lot. Okay. So something like that, and it's not right up against the eye, right? The dark spot? Yeah, there's like a little gap there, and it does get pretty close. Over here, kind of near the corner of the eye here. Yeah. That is, it does get pretty close up there, so there is a slight angle to this. But over here is lighter. And over here is lighter. There's like a little crease from her smile right there. I think that's what we're seeing. I think that's what we're seeing there. Okay, and then we have over here, which is just going to be a little bit darker in general. This might be a little bit too dark. That's definitely too light, though. Touch very gently. Okay. We got a little bit of a darker spot in the corner here. Or things kind of go out like this. And man, her eyelashes are so subtle here. I cannot make them super fluffy like I like to do in my animes. I'm gonna have to restrain myself. The prices we pay for photorealism. This is why I don't draw in photorealism anymore. Okay. I guess it looks a little bit more like her now. I also think that I feel like the mouth is still just a little bit off, but I've been having trouble identifying why. I think it's something in the teeth and this upper lip. Anyway, let me focus on the eyes still. I don't think I'm quite done there. Not quite. And I would like to get the eyelashes in before I go and do anything with the mouth here. That little, like, eyeshadow spot here is darker. I think it's even darker than that. Whoa there. And got a little overexcited. Okay. So I think it's something like this. Yeah, and then there's like a tiny, tiny little dark ridge just sitting on top there. That's probably fine. Okay, looking a little better. Let's go and do some more eyelashes then. This one I think needs to curve upward just a little bit more than it is. And we'll just put in a few little lashes here. I think I might even have them a little bit too dark. Too dark and too thick, all things considered. Gonna turn this into an eraser and make them a little thinner here. Curl this guy upward just a little bit more. Okay, I do think that they're longer, but they just get really, really transparent near the ends. So they're very hard to see. And I will try to replicate that effect here. So something kind of like that. Yeah, that seems about right. And then if I look at the shape of the eyes themselves, there's kinda... It's almost a little bumpy. I'm not sure how else to describe it, but like right here is almost like a little bit bumpy. I assume it's eyeliner. And kind of some mascara for the eyelashes there. Something like that. And now I want to get the values kind of on the eye itself a little better. There isn't quite as much transition between the super dark spot, which I do think is partially eye makeup, and the rest of the eye. And I want to see how close I am on getting this value right. Yeah, this one is a little bit lighter. So I will make it a little bit lighter. I amped up the contrast really, really hard. So I'm not surprised that I have some things here a little bit dark. Okay, then one thing I remember observing is that the black part of her eye is a little bit bigger under her glasses. There is a tiny break. This is way exaggerated right now, but I do want to try to get that tiny break in there. It's kind of like this. And now I kind of want to up the contrast between these two spots again. Okay. The bottom part here is pretty dark, but I think I have it too dark on mine. Like everything under the glasses is darker than what I have. I might even have the eye a little bit too large there. I think I do, actually. So what I think I need to do is actually clear a little bit of the bottom here. Try to get this a little bit closer to the actual size. Okay. And now I can put in some slightly lighter colors here. I think that's a little bit too light, but it's all good. I'll just keep adjusting them until they look correct to me. There's a little bit more light just right through here. You know, much like in the animes, I do want the eyes to look very good, so I am going to be putting a lot of time into them. Alright, let me take a look here. Are they still large? Maybe. I do feel like they might be just a little bit big here. Let me see. Just taking it from the eye white. Eye white only at the biggest point, about that big. Eye white only. Yeah, mine's a little bit big. So what's making it a little bit big? Do I not have enough of this black part on top, or do I have too much going on the bottom? I'm assuming it's the bottom, but I'm gonna check here. Yeah, seems like I have this right, and this is just too much at the bottom here. So that's probably one of the big things affecting how much it actually looks like. Kson here. Gotta roll this eye up a little. Which in turn means I need to adjust my shadows here. Roll them up with it. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And I think I might have the black part of her eye a little bit too far to the side. So I'm gonna bring that a little further out here. Once again, keep that little break from the lens of her glasses, because I think it looks really cool. I think it's cool when glasses cause that kind of distortion. Okay. Yeah, it even looks like she's looking at the viewer a little better now. Okay, that's cool. Now, compared to the eye white, I think the little kind of specular highlight in her eye here, it's about the same. Let me zoom in there. Okay, it is a little bit darker. Good to know. All right, let's get that in there now. About where is it? There's like two. There's like one right up against her. eyelash there. I mean, I know the eyelash kind of curves in like this. And just because of how I handle the contrast, everything is super just the same. Because everything here is just black. But I see 2 dots here. This third one is from her glasses, which I already have in. So I can kind of use that as a landmark, actually. Okay. So I think the first one is right about here. And the second one is right... I think it's a little bit lower than that one. No, they really are, like, directly horizontal from each other. It's probably right about here. Yeah, that looks alright. Did I get him a good size? This one... This one, I think, is blended a little more. It's kind of coming out this way, just a touch. Okay. So there we go. We got some specular highlights. I do like me some specular highlights. They are very nice. And now I'll go back to just shaping things a little bit better. Just get all the stuff going on here. In. I do think that there's a small shadow on the top there. I see it. It is a pretty tiny, though. Very thin. Very, very thin. And we still have this big, thick black line from the eyelashes. This is, once again, I think it's just eyelashes, eyeliner, and stuff. Okay. I'm going to adjust kind of eyeshadow here again. I think it goes a little bit more this way. To be fair, I did adjust the eyes. So it makes sense that I might have to adjust some of the stuff sitting around the eyes. Okay, what are you doing? I want to know how this part sits. That's what I was looking at there. And I think it's a little bit... It's rounder, you know? And then we have the nice little highlight right there. Yeah, something kind of like that. If anything, I think it's actually a little bit more round. And then things are dark through here. Thin through here. And then there's a little highlight right on top here. I still feel like her eyelashes are fluffier than mine. And that is just unacceptable. So let's go in and add some more eyelash fluff. Restraining myself too hard. I gotta have room for those fluffy lashes. Okay, that seems alright. And then I think I have the very top part of the black part of her eye there. A little bit too large. I need to curve it in just a little. It's very round through here. Very round, very high contrast. Redraw that eyelash on top there, and... Now I did it too much. I overdid it. I'm just being precise, so I actually kind of have to zoom in to do things now. Okay, that seems alright. Okay, let's go ahead and do some eyelashes on this side. This time, I actually want to check how much space is under her glasses here. Because once again, I feel like I have too much. I feel like I have the right amount above the glasses frame, but but too much below. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck this in as well. I will trust my eyes here. I believe in you, eyes. You wouldn't lie to me, right? You absolutely would, but it's okay. I trust you this time. You're definitely onto something here. Yeah, at the corner of the eye a little bit low. Which is in turn affecting everything else. That's just how proportions work. Proportions are just sizes of things relative to other things. If you have no other thing around, then you can draw something whatever size you want it to be. Okay, yeah, that seems better. Now the eye bag is massive, so I'm gonna have to fix that. And I think there's also the, same dark spot here that I do not have captured. There's a light spot on this one that does not exist on this one. I'm guessing that's because the light is kind of coming from the right here. So it's hitting this eye a little bit differently than it's hitting this eye. Anywho, let's go and fix that eye bag. Just tuck all this in here. All this is gonna go in. Okay, yep, that looks better. I'm looking at this part here, where it kind of looks like this line disappears a little bit. Kind of like that. And then we have the dark spot underneath the eye there. This actually looks darker to me than this. Am I correct? So if I take a color from there, yeah, it's a little bit darker, and then comes out to be about the same a little bit further out. So the corner of the eye is going to be much darker. And then over here is obviously very dark. Okay. So I think I'll start with that really, really dark corner over here. And then things get a little bit lighter out through here, but still darker than what I have. And then things get a little bit darker on the corner of the eye. Something like that. Okay, and then what is your shape? Little shadow here. Okay, so the darkest part really lines the eye very closely. And then we have this highlight. I assume this is like the waterline. So she presumably has some like lower lashes sticking out here. But I don't really see them. Feels weird considering how much I like to exaggerate my lower lashes. Some part of me always feels like I should chill out on the lashes sometimes, but man, I just like making them so fluffy. It just makes me happy. But when they start getting a certain bit of exaggeratedly fluffy, it does become hard to do certain things. I will find the balance someday, but right now I'm not really looking for it, so it's okay. So yeah, dark part lines the eye really closely here. And then there's like a highlight up here. It is still very dark, because it's still in kind of a dark area, but there is a little highlight up there. which makes the shadow get a little bit thinner. And then I guess I need to smooth out the eyes a little bit here. Okay, so how are we doing? I actually feel like I moved the eye bag just a little bit too close. I'm gonna pull it down just a touch. You know, just like that. Oh no, a little bit more. And there's also this particular curve to it that I don't think I have quite right. That I might need to draw in manually, but... Oh no, I got it about right there. That seems okay. I do think that the bottom here is a little bit darker than what I have, so I'll go ahead and put that in. You know, just a little bit. Nothing too serious. Then we have the highlight sitting there, and... How are we doing? Good. I think I have everything in this corner just a little bit too light, so I'm just gonna wholesale darken everything. Something like that. Got the shadow from her glasses right there. Okay. Yeah, just kind of blending the colors together a little bit right there. I don't want it to be very strong because there's not a lot going on over there. It's all pretty smooth. Gradient is not strong. I just see it's a little bit darker in kind of the corners there. Okay. Okay, I think I am about ready to add those eyelashes now. So let's go ahead and start prepping the eyes themselves a little bit. So once again, I see that kind of little bit of makeup there. Or at least it looks like makeup to me. So I will brush that in a little bit more firmly now. Kind of just hanging out in the corner here. Okay. Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit thicker. Okay. And then we have the nice dark bit sitting on the top there. I think I have that about right. If anything, it's a little bit too thick right now. This part should not be dark. Let's go ahead and clean up the shape of the eyes here. It's a little blurry. And I do feel like this value transition is actually quite sharp. I'll go check it one more time just to make sure. But yeah, I feel like it is very sharp. And then over here, kind of in the corner of the eye, I think it's just darker than what I have. I might even just use my friend, the hard round, for this instead of my opacity brush. Okay. And then I just kind of want to darken everything over here. There's like a light spot kind of on top here. But everything else, it's pretty dark actually. Yeah, that looks a little better. Okay, I think I'm getting there. So now what I want to do is I want to get the width of this kind of dark spot. I think it's part of her eyelashes, right? And then the eyeball underneath it. It is not shaped quite right. So I think that these eye whites are about the same value here. Yeah, the one over here is a little bit lighter, but it has more shadows kind of around it. And then, of course, this one, this corner here is very, very dark. It is like the same tier as the lighter part of the glasses, I think. Not the, like, super highlight, but some of the lighter spots over here. Yeah, it's even a little bit darker than that. Okay, good to know. Okay. But this part, about the same. Then there's lots... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. This part, about the same. And then there's lots of dark shadows. I need to lock the layer, definitely. Kind of through here. And then this has this kind of angle. You can see I'm cutting into the eyeball a little bit, but that's okay. I'll fix it in a little bit. But I want to get this top eyelash in the right spot before I do anything else. I think getting that right will go a long way to making this look a little bit more like Kson. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so there's a little bit more lightness on the bottom, right below the glasses. Kind of like right there. But besides that, it is pretty dark. I do think I have it a little bit too dark, but it is still pretty dark. Okay, let's go put the darkest part back in there. I kind of pulled it back a little bit too much. Okay. And now I think I can put the black part of the eye back in. And if I have this as a little bit too light for what I need, you can see I had the corner way too light then. Let's go ahead and make it just a little bit darker than that. I do feel like right now I have it just a little bit too close to the eyelash color there. So I'll pull it back out just a little bit. Okay, and now it's a little bit more visible. Put in the black part of the eye here. And once again, I kind of want that little bit of distortion from the lenses of her glasses, because I think it looks really cool. I'll try not to exaggerate it too much. Oh yeah, I made her eye way too big. Okay. Okay, we pull it back just a little. Okay, and now I want to round things out on this side. It has kind of a weird shape now that I look at it. I'm not sure how to describe the shape, but it is, you know, not a circle. Got some interesting kind of character to it. I still don't have it right, though. And actually, now that I look at it, I think that the... Actually, I'm just going to draw it rather than using liquify. I think that the corner of this eyelash does something a little bit more like this. Where it kind of comes out just a little bit more here. Yeah, I do think that looks a little bit more accurate. I'm still trying to figure out what makes her face her face. And I think I still have a couple of things to fix around the nose, but let me just finish off the eyes here, because I do think it is helping. Okay, let's see here. Gotta stretch here. Arms felt like they were locking up a bit, so I made sure to kind of stretch that. There we go. Nice big stretch. I do like them. I just know that this part is off, but I'm having trouble identifying why. Is it just too far to the right there? I feel like I have about the right amount of space here, so do I have that corner of her eye too far to the side? Her eye does feel a little bit wide. This kind of shape. Maybe just a little. It's really not that bad, though. Yeah, it's like it was just a little at most. So this is about right. And then I definitely have the black part of the eye a little bit too far to the side, which still surprises me, because I feel like I already have too much of this part here showing. Fascinating. Okay. It's okay, I believe. I will trust my eyes this time. I'll bring the eye a little bit closer to the other side. Oh, I don't have the layer locked. I should do that. Okay, then eyelash gets pretty thick over there, and you will come a little further this way. And you're shaped kind of like this. You are surprisingly not round here. Got that weird shape that I don't know how to describe, but it is surprisingly flat on the top half of the glasses and then a little bit rounder on the bottom. That's all I got there. I don't think that angle is correct, but yeah, there we go. That's kind of the idea. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. Still not sure if that's right, but I want to get the other side real quick here. Okay, that's not bad. I think that's definitely closer than what I had. I still feel like this part is too large. So maybe it's just a sign that my eyelash is not large enough. That seems likely, so I'll try it. I still feel like the black part of the eye is a little bit skewed. So let me just paw at it with Liquify for a second. See if I can find that bit that I'm looking for that is making things feel just a little bit off here. Yeah, closer. Definitely closer. But I wouldn't say I'm quite there. You can see, even sometimes I still have trouble seeing. It's pretty hard to train. You'd think it'd be easy, considering how much we have to see every day, but... your brain lies to you a lot. It's very rude. Okay, and I don't think that this eye has any specular highlight, actually, because I think both of these are just on the... are they on the glasses? No, I do think that they are actually... on top here, and I have the entire eye white too light. There's like only this little spot right above the glasses that's dark at all, or light at all. I'm actually amazed by how dark this eye is. Anywho, let's go put those tiny little guys in here. I really did think that they were part of the glasses, because they were so close in value there. Nope, I have this one too far to the side. They are a little closer together. I think mine are a little bit too small, but otherwise looking okay. Yeah, I got a little tickle in my throat there. Okay. Okay, this looks alright. Let's see. The thing that I was noticing here is definitely an eye makeup thing. I need to trim this down just a little. Okay. And the bottom of the black part of the eye here, I do think sticks out a little bit more here. Probably glasses distortion. Okay, yeah, I think we're looking a little better now. Looks a little bit more like her. Let's go ahead and put in those eyelashes. So let's see, if I look at where yours are here, there's like some dusty residue things over here, and I see just a few, and then they get tiny right about there. And I don't see any more over here. So... yeah, kind of lining up with where the eyebrow starts to get light is where the eyelashes start to get pretty close to non-existent. Okay, got it. Let's see if I can replicate that. We got some fluffy over here. And then things get a little bit more thin and transparent. And I will definitely have to erase some of this in order to get the right effect. This one was a bit too low. This one needs to be a little bit more like up here. Come on. Thank you. I just wanted to pan. Okay. And then there's just like little tiny guys kind of right through here. And some of these will be erased. But I want to get everything in the right place first. And they are actually moving the other direction. More like this. Just a little bit more like that. Okay, now I can go to some of the fluffier ones on this side. It's okay, I'll overdo it just a little because I know I'm going to have to erase them, and this will let me have some fun. Okay. Alright, let's start pulling these back a little. Something like that. And I think I'm even going to use my smudge tool to just kind of pull them out just a little bit. Make them a little bit more transparent near the edge there, and a little bit more kind of smeared and blurry over here. Because that's kind of how they look to me, over in the corner there. Okay. And then I'll go back through with areas that I think should be a little bit stronger. Let me take some of this back just a little bit more. And now I can go back over it in some areas that I think should be a little bit stronger. Tiny, tiny brush here, because these eyelashes, they are teeny, teeny, tiny. Nothing like the big honking things I normally draw. Okay, I think I can afford to make mine a little bit bigger here. Like I said, there will be some erasing here. I'll just keep kind of layering this up. And eventually I should reach a point where I'm quite happy with it. Okay. Just gotta go back and forth a little. Until I reach a point where it starts looking correct to me. I think I have too many too close together. Let me take some back a little. Kind of combine a couple. I'm probably just too zoomed in while I do this, which, yeah, definitely a problem, but I'm scared, okay? Okay, yeah, that looks a little better. I'll try to stay a little bit more zoomed out, be less scared. I don't have to be scared. Like I work in digital. Anything I mess up is just so easy to fix. It's so easy. Okay, and I just feel like it should be a little bit lighter, but otherwise, we're looking okay. Okay, and then there's a couple that are just a little bit darker and longer than the rest. So I'll go ahead and try to get those in. This is like exaggeratedly long, but like I will be erasing it. Another one kind of up there and here. Okay. I do not want to erase the base too much, just the tip. Okay, I have a little bit of an extra one here. Let's pull that back a little. Okay, yeah, that's looking pretty alright. These tiny guys I think need a little bit more prominence, but I think I've got everything else. Oops, I still have my eraser. These guys are teeny tiny. These are much too large. But that is intentional. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. The only thing I want to fix is inside the eyes here, where I feel like this bends slightly the wrong way. goes a little bit more outward than I give it credit. Okay. I think I'm getting somewhere. Maybe. Yes, I think I am. Just got to be very gentle and careful with everything I do from here on. But I think it looks a little bit more like her, especially when I look up here. I still wouldn't quite say that I have the eyelashes entirely correct, but I think they're good enough. I also feel like this eye is still a little bit too close to this eye. But I'm pretty sure that my measuring says that this is correct. But I might trust my eye here. Oh no, my measuring says that it is not correct. Alright, well in that case, there's no problem. Push it a little bit more to the side here. And just adjust all the stuff around it accordingly. Okay. Yeah, that looks a lot better. It's amazing how those tiny little things can make such a big difference. Let's see, do I still have my brush here? So from corner to corner, are we better? Yeah. There we go. That was all I needed. And I actually do think it looks a lot more like her with that. I kind of want to go and add just a little bit of texture to the eyebrows here. There's not a ton of texture on her eyebrows. They look very painted here, so they're not like super hairy or anything. But there is a little bit going on here. So I just kind of want to add that kind of texture in there. It's more prominent on the other side, but there's a little bit going on here. Where is my smudge tool? I like to use that to kind of blur edges a little bit. It's makes my life a little bit easier. But I actually realized that I still have the eyebrows pretty rough. Let's just go ahead and get a little bit more blur in those areas that I feel like are softer. Because there are a couple of spots that just look a little bit softer to me. Right now, what I have is lots of very, very hard edges. So yeah, let's make them just a little bit softer in a few areas. Okay, kind of similar in here. It's like, it's not super hairy, but there is just like a slight bit of texture there. Let's go ahead and kind of brush that in real quick. That's a bit too much, but I wanted to take another look at her here. Kind of feel out the corner as well. Okay. I'll fix this first. And then this corner here is actually pretty soft. Got a bit of transparency going on there. So I'll go ahead and kind of brush through everything here again. Get those eyebrows looking a little more accurate. Okay, so we have a little bit less light up there and a little bit more light at the bottom here. It does something kind of like this. Okay, now I kind of blend it together a little bit better. Right here, fairly soft. I don't want a bunch of super hard lights or anything. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I think I could still use maybe a little bit of smudge tool blur to some of these edges here. Yeah, see how it just makes it slightly blurry in a few spots? And it has this kind of hazy quality to it. That's kind of what I see over there. Okay. And this side looks like kind of the same thing going on there, so let's try to get some of that in now. Once again, I think I will use my smudge tool to make things right here just a little bit hazier. Kind of smooth out some of those harder edges. Being very gentle about it. I don't want to do too much. And then it's like there's almost like just a little bit of hair just coming off right here. Just a little. I don't want to overdo it, but there's just like a tiny little corner here. Kind of coming off. Even that I think is a little too exaggerated, but yeah, it's just a little thicker right there. Just like a little thicker right through here. Try to get a little bit of the hair-like texture here, but her eyebrows, they're still not very hairy. They just got a little bit of shapes in there. Okay, and the dark part extends a little bit further than what I currently have. And this is just the kind of stuff that I'm looking at while I'm trying to figure out what to do. And how to make these eyebrows look a little bit more like her eyebrows. Pay very close attention to some of the various angles around here and exactly where those shadows are hiding. Take a little bit off the bottom. I feel like there's a little bit more of an arc here. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. I'm still gonna take the smudge tool to a few places again. Just tuck some things around, use it to change the shape in a few areas. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Something about mine still just doesn't quite look like her, though. And I am just not entirely sure what it is. Maybe it's hair. Well, I do think that a part of this upper lip is a bit off. So I think I'm going to go and do some mouth shenanigans now. And hopefully, smoothing that out a bit will also make it look a little bit more like her. So the first thing I was noticing was that I felt like the angle of this lip was a bit off, and that the teeth there are not quite right. So let's go ahead and grab that first. That's the most obvious place to me. Okay. And I still think I have some spots around here that I need to kind of change the shape of just a little. This part of her lip is a bit lighter. And I guess I can actually kind of get that specular highlight in there. I do not think it is as light as the forehead. But she has this, you know, little highlight running through a few of these places here. I'm probably going to paint over this, but I just want to put in some of the things I see to kind of help me out for now. Sometimes I just got to do a thing or two to help me out. Okay, and I'm not gonna worry about, like, the exact little dents in her teeth. I will probably do those near the end. But I feel like that would be a little bit too much information right now. Okay, no, I don't have the layer locked right now. I should before I attempt some of this. Okay, and let's pull the upper lip in just a little. Okay. And I'm gonna slowly kind of blend out the teeth here. I actually feel like the gradient on it is very smooth. It's just kind of... The teeth are tricking. The teeth are tricky. That's the best way to put it. But I think that the gradient everywhere else is actually quite smooth. Okay, and I know that some of this is on the head. Let me pull back a few places here. And just try to get the perspective on this a little nicer. Okay, that's starting to look pretty good, I think. I have to re-get the angle of the corner of her mouth here, but, you know, that's okay. I can do that. It's like a very thin little fold there. Just kind of like that. Okay. Gonna stare at kind of her upper lip here again. Okay, I'm gonna pot this with liquefy again. I just feel like the perspective on the lower lip is a little bit off, and it's probably throwing me off. So let's go ahead and adjust that just a little. I'm just looking back and forth at mine and the reference and just making whatever little change I see here, because, I mean, I think today is going to be the day that I declare this done, so I'm trying to get as much in as possible. I just feel like at this point the changes are very small, and I've gotten most of what I want out of the study itself. Just keep calm and measure. And roughly where proportions are and stuff like that. I feel like I can still capture photos. I reminded myself how to use reference really well again. All those little things. So I think I am ready to draw some other things. But nonetheless, I would still like this to look very good. And most importantly, I want it to look like her. When this is done, it should very much look like Kson. Okay. Gotta kind of smooth out her cheeks a little here. Okay, I'm gonna flip this just to see how I feel about certain things. See if a little bit of a new perspective helps. Do I not have her forehead light enough? No, we're good. Cheek here might be a little bit dark, though. This cheek, I think, is okay. Okay, and I do think that there's a little bit more of a dark spot just around the mouth. It's not quite as dark as this little thing on her lower lip there, but there are some parts just kind of around here that I think are a little darker than I currently have them. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's straighten out her cheeks a little here. And I think that'll help. I might actually go do the teeth soon. Just because, I don't know, everything else, it's getting there. So it might actually be about time for just little teeth shapes. They're not really important, though. This is too dark, but I plan to kind of pull it back a little and blend it into the cheeks. I just really want to get the shape where I think it belongs. And for that, it's just a little bit easier for me to make it a bit darker. And then lighten it up at the end. I just felt like this part of her cheek is a little bit rounder than what I have. Okay, I'm gonna just lighten up everything there. There is like a little shadow right here in the corner of her smile there. I'm gonna zoom in a little because I want to make this bit thinner. Right now I do feel like it is too thick, and it is throwing some stuff off. So let's go ahead and blend this in a little better. And then somewhere in there, there is a shadow from the glasses that I need to get in. I'm pretty sure I kind of uncovered it a little. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. Let's go ahead and... Okay, no, I saw the shadow from the glasses there. It's right here. Angle's a little off, but it's there. It is. I did not forget it or accidentally kill it or anything like that. It's just there. I think it might be a little light, but it is certainly there. Wonderful. I'm just trying to get the shape of it in a place that makes me happy. Okay. Now then, let's see here. I am actually... Why do I have the marquee? I want to pull this back just a touch. There we go. And I want to pull... Well, I'm not going to use liquefy for that. I'm just going to draw it, but this guy needs to kind of be a little further away from the mouth. Basically all it amounts to. Okay, let's get that dark spot on the cheek back. It's just right here. At the kind of corner of her mouth there. There's just a little tiny dark spot there. It is not very dark relative to anything else, but it is dark enough for me to notice. Okay, to the other side. Okay, and then I think the next thing, I'm gonna go poke at the nose a little. Center, I think, just needs to come over here just a little. Oh, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Very no. Let's try that again. But yeah, just needs to come a little bit to the right and down. I think more than anything, that is what I'm seeing in the nose. Okay. Let's go ahead and take this part in a little, but otherwise, I think I'm onto something. I do. Just gotta keep trying. I'll get it eventually. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put some dark spots on the teeth real quick. Hopefully I get those proportions right, because they're gonna be a bit of a nightmare to change. No, nope, they're not straight. They're angled slightly. That's a little thick. This is why I didn't want to do them. Why I was holding off for so long. Because there is a surprising amount of little things happening there. So I'm just gonna play this very, very, very carefully. Okay. And then there's like some spots in the corners that are a little bit darker. We'll see if I actually want to do this or not. Nah, you know what? I think it's fine as one solid color. I changed my mind. I don't think I'm going to do the teeth at all. I will adjust the value on her lip here because I think this is way too dark. Yes? Way too dark? Heck yeah. It sure is. Okay, that looks a little better. Okay. Now then. What do I think is making it not look like her? Because it still doesn't quite look like her to me. Still nose. Still nose. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on in the nose here, and why the nose keeps making me think it doesn't look like her. There's like... Okay, that... What I'm seeing now, I think I just have to draw, but, the angle of the round part of the nose. A little bit off. Okay, that's a little better, I think. Corner of the mouth disappeared again. And that little corner is so important. It is so important. I gotta make sure it stays there. Just lightly brush in a little bit more lip here. Because it kind of disappeared on me somehow. These things happen. It's okay. I can fix it. It's nice being able to fix drawings. Okay, I think I will do a little bit on the hair now. The main thing is just that I want... There's some spots here that look a little strandy, so let's just... Yeah, go ahead and make this part look a little fluffier. Get some of those little baby hairs in there. Change the shape of her forehead just a little through the power of little baby hairs. And just a little bit of extra transparency. And hopefully that gets it, but I don't know. I don't quite know what I feel is so off. Does her head just feel long? Is her chin too low? Should I just take like the entire head and squish it up a little? No, I don't feel like I have her chin or any of the features in the wrong place. Yet somehow they feel a little further apart on mine. Mysterious. I'm not actually sure what's causing that. I'm legitimately not, huh? What is the distance between her eyes and nose here? If I just put a circle around the whole thing. They are indeed a little further apart. Not a lot, but a little. Fascinating. Okay, let's see here. Put it like the tip of the nose here. And you can see that I kind of cut in a little bit on both eyes there. But if I put it on mine, I do not cut in to her eyes. So is this an incorrect spot with the nose or with the eyes? It's like I measured the eyes pretty dang thoroughly. But to be fair, they were a little hard to measure due to the eyelashes. Yeah, I think I just have her eyes, and thus her eyebrows, a little bit too far to the side. I will need to put the nose pad back, though, because the nose pad was fine. I forgot that I had him on eyebrows. I didn't feel like making a new layer for it. Still not quite there. Hum. Having to do a lot of thinking. It is making me quiet. But I assure you, I am thinking very, very hard. Let's just try to get some of these little blurrier spots that kind of, I think, have loose hair in them. Let's get some of those in. Maybe I'll even do a little bit with the highlights here. I don't need to do that much with them, though. They're fine. I'll just separate them out a little bit. This one's a little bit higher than those ones. There's a couple that are just kind of low down here. Get that little bit that kind of makes them look like they're turning around here. Get those angles good. Because there's like this bit where it starts surrounding her hair. And then just for something that'll make it look a little bit nicer, I'll go ahead and blur. And maybe that one wasn't the right one. There's like a textured one too. I'll just go over everything. And then I can go over it again with one of the brushes I like to use for hair and some of my more realistic stuff, and that's this guy. Hello there, Shinora. So that's this guy here. We'll just put a little bit in there. I don't want to do a lot. I'm probably even doing more than I should, really. I just want it to look a little bit more textured. And I'm hoping that this will help me with the general shape of the hair here. Okay, and I need some spots that are a little bit lighter through here. Kind of just right around here. So I'll pull all that back. And just keep gently building up some of these things. I always forget that I have to push really hard with this brush in order to actually put down color. What happened? Okay. Alright, I think that's looking fine. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, and I'm gonna use this to actually pull out some of these baby hairs and some of these slightly more transparent spots. Some of Krita's blendy brushes are actually pretty nice for this kind of thing. Ah, I see. That's unfortunate. I hope you get better soon. I always forget how good these brushes are. I don't use them much when I do anime-based things. I always forget how useful they are when you actually want, like, a degree of... I don't know, just... texture, I guess. And actual blending. Sure, go for it. So I'll just blend a little bit of this out. Make things look a little bit more hair-like and a little bit more free. Instead of the kind of stiff bits that I had up until now. Okay, and all this is just from, like, some of the back hair here. I intended to kind of clean up later. It is now later, I suppose. What exactly are you? Are you part of the jacket? Or do I have a back hair layer? I do have a back hair layer. Okay. I see. What kind of spirits do you think you summoned? Alright. That is good. That does look pretty good. I'll go ahead and kind of adjust things up here. These brushes are nice because they kind of let you push things around. Okay. This hair is going the wrong way now. I need to pull it back this way. So we'll just kind of do this kind of motion, and I think it should do what I want. It should just push things for me. Keep things a little bit less hard on the edges, so hopefully it looks a little bit more like hair. Okay. Yeah, I see. What kind of spirits do you think you summoned? Okay. There we go. Let's just get some nice things going around the edge there. And I guess I will visit the background layer just a little bit here and kind of pull some of this out. I think I want something a little smoother than this brush though, so I will use this guy and we'll push some of these lighter spots around. Just make sure that I have this nice little halo going around her like I do in the reference. I see. Okay. Okay, and that should be fine. So let's see, what do I still think is a little bit off here? I guess it does look a little bit more like her now, so I think that helped. What do I feel like I'm missing here, though? Because I still think that there is something off about her face. Yep, clearly. Okay. So there, maybe I had that cheek a little bit too low. Because I do think that helped a little. Okay, and I do feel like maybe when I went over the eyebrows, I might have moved them around a little. A little bit too much. So I'm going to use this brush again and kind of push them down a little. That's probably not gonna work, huh? Yeah. Maybe instead I should just do a small adjustment like that. And then from there, I can go in and use the same brush to kind of follow the flow a little bit better. Oh man, you know, I really wish I remembered that this brush existed like, 30 minutes ago when I was actually working more seriously on the eyebrows. Because holy hell, do they make things so much easier. That's probably fine. I don't know, do you live in a dangerous place, or? Because if you don't, then yeah, it's probably fine. Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to go over the eyes a little bit more because I'm realizing that I think I just have some spots that are a little bit too dark or too light. Yeah, and, it's probably all good. No need to worry. I'll just put a few more little shadows on the eyes here. I think that is too dark, but I like the idea. Okay, once again, I'm just kind of looking at the thickness of the eyelashes here. Making sure that I have them all here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty alright. Do I have the rest of her eyes just too dark or too light? No, I have this about right. Down here might be a bit too light, though. So I'll brush some of this in and kind of try to bring out this little corner of her eye a little. Okay, I do think that there might be a few more dark spots just in the corner here that I don't have drawn quite well. I did move the eyes a little, so maybe it just got kind of absorbed when that happened. That is plausible. Okay, our brain sees things that aren't there all the time. Our brains are lying liars. That's like one of the first things you learn when you do art, that your brain is just constantly lying to you. Just all the time. You get used to it. Brains are extremely rude. You gotta tell them to shut up sometimes. Okay, I want to kind of get the shape of the corner of this eye a little bit more accurate here. Well, I mean, if it makes you feel better, might as well. It's not like it's gonna hurt anything. Okay, and then there's just this tiny highlight, kind of like right there. I think even that might be too light. It is a very tiny highlight after all. Okay, yeah, this seems alright. It's looking a little bit more like her now. When I look up here, it definitely looks a little bit more like her. I still don't feel like I have the lips right here, though. That upper lip has been giving me more trouble, I swear. Nothing I do ever looks right on it. It's very picky. It's very picky. Alright, so let's take a look at the angles around it again. If it's so picky, let's really, really look. So I see here, and like the angle of this, of like the deepest part of the upper lip, actually is pretty sharp. When I look at the lowest point here to where it meets the center tooth there, it is pretty sharp. How is it on mine? Not as sharp. Okay, so maybe that's it. That might be something throwing me off here. I'm just gonna clean up this edge, because it's pretty sharp on her, on the actual photo there, so... Okay, and a little bit further down here. Alright, let's try to get that sharp angle here. So maybe something a little bit more like that. We don't really see the bumps that kind of exist on the upper lip here. It looks like it goes here and then slopes upward a little bit more. Welcome back! Okay. So that should help a little too if I get this slope a little bit more accurate. And then there's a bump here and it goes straight across. What do I currently have? I actually have that pretty well here. Bump up and straight. And then on the teeth, I do think that there's a little bit of a dark spot there. So I'll go ahead and get that. Just like at the bottom of the lip here, where it kind of curls back into her mouth. I see. Do you live in an apartment, or is this just more family members? Okay, and then on the other side is that same thing kind of there. Not quite as strongly, but a little bit. There is like a gradient where this is very light, this is very dark. Light, dark. So maybe I just need a little bit more gradation in here. And so it's not as strong on this side. It's more of an actual gradient. Whereas over on this side, the side closer to the viewer, I feel like it's a little bit more like a sudden plane shift. That'd be the way to describe it. So it's not a smooth transition. It's a much harsher one. So let's see if I can capture that. Something like this. And then it will be harsh against the teeth. The teeth are not part of this plane change. So then I make this just a touch smoother. And then I think I need some lightness up on the top here. Both sides. This side gets it nice and smooth. The other side gets it much more harsh. Alas. Always sucks to be sick. Okay. Yeah, that's looking all right. Just getting some of those values into the mouth here. Clean up the corner a little bit here. Make that look just a little bit nicer. Okay. And there we go. I'm not sure if that corner is quite right. I think it needs to be a little bit more triangular. Right now it's kind of square. But that's something I can fix pretty easily. So I'll just clean up around here. And try to get that just a little bit more triangular. Just a little. Even go in and try to make it nice and smooth here. Nice and smooth. Now, see, if I was going to work on this more, the big thing that I would do is try to, like, smooth things out and get rid of all my brush strokes and whatnot. So that would probably be the next step if I was going to continue. But I do think I might just leave it here. Or where it'll be in the next step. And yeah, I mean, being sick will make you feel pretty bad. That'll do that. Sure will. Okay. I still feel like this corner is a little bit strong, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of blend it out a little bit more, get that triangle a little bit stronger. Go back and forth between the two layers that it's on. I don't dare put the mouth on its own or merge it with the head here. So I want it on its own layer. I think it would make my life a little bit harder if I didn't have it like that, so there we go. Okay, now I pull this dark part out a little bit more. Okay, seems alright. I think I might have overdone the liquefy in the nose there, but let's just finish off the mouth here. Really dig into that. Because I do think that digging into that is helping. I think I might have her teeth a little bit too dark. Let's see. So you're on the side there, so that'd be the equivalent of like here. And yes, they are quite dark. Let's go ahead and lighten up the teeth a little. Okay. And I think they're also a little bit square, so I need to pull this upper lip up a little, I think. Okay. Is this part still a little bit too light on the, or dark on the teeth? I definitely, that is definitely not the color of my teeth. There we go. Nope, I have them about right. If anything, they're a little bit light now. So, good sign. Let's go ahead and kind of smooth out this transition. Okay, that looks pretty okay. I'm gonna go ahead and smooth out the colors on the chin now. Let's get all of these looking a little smoother there. Right now they're a bit messy. And I think I'm gonna move the eyebrows just a click lower. Okay. Yeah, I think that helped. Let me look at the bottom of the lip here. Is this about the same as up here? It looks very similar to me. Yeah, the area near the base of the teeth, if anything, is a little bit darker, but the values all look pretty dang close to the same to me. So I'll try to capture that, where I keep them very, very close. And if anything, the very top is the dark part. I want to make these highlights a little bit better too. Just a little bit darker on the top. Then I'll try to get those highlights in. I'm gonna zoom out and really, really look at the picture here because I see that they're actually kind of going this way. Kind of like this, and I think that might even be too light. And there's a tiny one here. Nope, a little more central. Right here. A bigger one right there. And another tiny one kinda just right over here. Okay. I'll put in a few more lights on the upper lip. I do think that there are a little bit of lights up there. I just don't see them very well because it's really close in value to the area kind of above her upper lip here. Okay. I'm gonna go poke at her nose again. I swear, I have poked at this nose so much. All the little angles on this nose are really difficult for me to make out. So my brain keeps lying to me. My brain is rude. I wish it would stop. But all I gotta do is try to interpret the signals that my brain is giving me a little bit better. Really see what is actually here. There is something there that is real, and then there is something there that is a result of my brain kind of trying to make some shortcuts. Try to lower my cognitive load. It is just doing its best. But I'm trying to tell my brain very politely that I need that extra information if I want to capture all of this correctly. While I appreciate its help, I wish it would stop. Okay, trying to capture some of these various lighter and darker areas that I see over here. Because there's a few. And my brain kept trying to claim that the cheek was quite smooth with not a lot of value transition here. And it is wrong. It is very wrong. There is actually quite a lot of things happening on this cheek here. Okay, so that looks pretty okay. How do I feel about the nose now? Nope, still not quite there. Nose is bad. No wonder the animes don't draw them. So I made that shadow a little bit big, so this way I'd have a little bit of room to mess with this nostril here. Because I don't think I had the angle on it quite right. Not quite. Okay, that looks a little bit better. That nose is hard, man. I'm not sure what it is that's giving me so much trouble. But I think what it might be telling me is that maybe I should do some more detailed nose studies. And really figure out how noses work. Really figure out how noses work. Learn as much as I can. And then I think that, you know, my drawings will just get a little bit stronger. Basically, I'm the type of person that really likes to just make things. And I think right now I might need to do a little bit of art-based weight training. Kind of the same idea, where I just need to train up those muscles a little. So that this way, when I go to draw things, they'll be just a little bit better and I can probably draw them just a little bit faster. Speed is what I'm really interested in still. I just want to be speed. Okay, I do feel like the likeness is a little bit closer now. All that stuff really did help, so I am pleased. I am so pleased. Okay. So let's see here. What should I work on next? How about just something like this? There's like a tiny little shadow right there. It is super tiny. Super tiny. Okay, yeah, that was nice. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Back here, I think there's actually a little bit less space between the glasses and the shadow. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the teeth again. And there's like this dark corner on this side. And I want to get it and the teeth here at the proper angle. And you can see it's pretty straight. And there's like a tiny little triangle here. So I'm gonna get that tiny little triangle in. And the straight part of the teeth in. And that should help a little bit too. Every little thing makes a surprising amount of difference. Every time I continue to be surprised just how much making this a triangle versus whatever shape I had before how much it changes. And then I'd like to bring out some of this area just a little. Make it a little smoother. A little bit nicer looking. I think this is a prominent enough location that it's worth a little bit of extra effort to kind of smooth it. Just a little. I think the highlight looks fine as is. But everything else I think could use just a little bit of touching up. Okay. So over here, once again, I'm just gonna kind of straighten out these edges just a little. Make them a little bit sharper. A little bit less blurry from just painting with an opacity brush. And this just goes to show that brushes don't really make that big of a difference. I'm just using a hard opacity brush for like 90% of this. The one brush I use to kind of help out with hair, definitely nice. So I'm not going to say that they make zero difference, but I feel like brush choice is much more of an advanced topic than people realize. Because like it won't help you draw, it'll just help you draw faster. It'll just make it easier. And until you know what kind of stroke that you would like to make and what you would like to do, brush experimentation won't actually help you very much. That's my opinion. I just don't think brushes are really a beginner topic. And I'm actually going to switch a brush here because what I want to do now is just kind of smooth things out a bit. And that's something that a nice little airbrush is good for. So I've got a little bit of time here, so I figured that I'd just go and make everything a little bit smoother. Now that I'm kind of happy with how a lot of these things are turning out. And I actually do think Krita's airbrush is pretty fantastic. I like it a lot. But I mean, if you look at what a lot of what I do, I just do everything with a hard round brush. Literally everything. Not so much here, because I'm not going for a style where the hard round brush is really suitable. But for the most part, it doesn't really matter. You can just use whatever is comfortable. And that is kind of why I say that brushes aren't a really beginner-appropriate topic, because when you're a beginner, everything is uncomfortable. It's just the unfortunate truth of being a beginner. Everything is uncomfortable. Everything feels bad. You might find a brush or two that makes you happy, if you're lucky. But odds are, it'll still feel pretty bad. Not just what being a beginner is like. I've been feeling out really hard with writing. Much like I was talking about at the start of stream here. I can feel being the beginner. I can feel it. It's hard. It is so hard. Unbelievably hard. I gotta be real careful with this airbrush though, because I can airbrush all my edges away if I'm not. And I don't want to get rid of all my nice edges. I just want to smooth out some places. Because I felt like it was a little bit too rough in some spots. Just a little. So I'm kind of smoothing out these areas that don't have super hard transitions. And I think little airbrushes are great for that. Just where my brush strokes got a little bit too messy. That's all I really want here. And if I were to do more work on this, this is basically what I'd be doing the whole time. Just smoothing out some areas that I feel like got a little bit too brushy. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit smoother. Oh yeah, I haven't done like anything with this ear. I guess I should. I'm just gonna keep things simple for me and just do this kind of thing. Where's my ear layer? I was gonna say I was pretty sure I made a separate layer for you. I generally do with ears because I don't like drawing ears. I don't. I don't think they're very fun. They are important though. I've been trying to get a little bit better at them because they do help me place facial features and whatnot a little bit more accurately. So like I said, I'm just going to keep things easy for me, and I'm just going to grab some colors and plop them down rather than kind of feel it out. Sometimes I get a little bit lazy. And I don't like drawing ears. I don't. So I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of take that hairbrush I used and run through things here just to kind of get the feeling that the hair is running over it. Also to make it blurry so I don't have to draw it. Yay. Keeping things easy. Okay, but that does look a little better. Okay. I'm gonna take a few loose strands here and there. That I will just go back to my opacity brush for. I think it just makes more sense. And we'll just draw a little bit of loose hair through here. I think it'll look pretty nice. And I'll probably pull through it with my other brush. Make certain parts just a little bit less, I don't know, stringy, I guess. At this point, I'm just kind of having a little bit of fun. Because, you know, like I said, I think I've gotten everything that I want out of this study. So now I can just kind of derp around and have a good time. Realism does have its perks. I do think it can look pretty nice. I do. There are advantages. And I do like being able to capture people's faces. I might even do some studies on faces. Just remind myself how to make them look different. Because that kind of thing can be fun too. Okay. But at the very least, I do think it looks like her now, so I have met my goal for today. But I've still got another, 30 minutes or so let's see how far I can push it in those 30 minutes. I think I'm just going to leave the face like this. My values aren't perfect. But I've largely done what I want. The proportions are good. It looks like her. So I guess I'll mess around with her kind of neck and chest area a little. And just kind of mess around there. Maybe do a little bit on the jacket. I don't know. We'll see what I feel like doing in the next 30 minutes or so. It's all up to me. Whatever I happen to like at the moment. Yeah, I'll blend in some of these dark areas. Make them nice. You are on a different layer. Okay, so you're part of the jacket. Okay. Okay. So I'm just trying to kind of hammer out a few of the values here. I just got rid of one crease that I think is kind of important. I'll put it back once I'm satisfied with how it looks next to her jacket here. And I'm actually going to switch off the airbrush for that. This edge is a little bit harder. There's just kind of a shape here, kind of like this. It's actually more going the other direction. So I guess I'll adjust it directly on the jacket too. Kind of rubbing up on her cheek there. And I'll just carefully adjust this until I'm satisfied. A lot of it is, fairly simple. Nothing, no super complex thoughts going on, just, okay. Do I like it? Yes. Cool, we work on something else now. Do I like it? No? Okay. Why don't I like it? And then go from there. That's basically what a lot of what I do amounts to. Just working on something until I'm happy. And it is true, there are occasions where it feels like that happiness just never comes. But I do my best. I guess I'm doing a little bit of the jacket now. That's fine. You can see that I'm going for the places closer to her face first. Because the face is the important part, right? You gotta go for the face. And then once the face is looking good, then you can kind of expand around. But I do think that is a pretty good way to be. Just very much emphasizing the face. Because that's what people will look at. Okay. And I think I can be kind of happy with the shadow around this area now. I think it's looking better. I am on the jacket layer. I did not want to be. Mistakes were made. It's okay. This bump is super exaggerated here, so let's clean that up just a little here. I think I can even use my precious hard round brush for it. Oh yeah. It's still my favorite. Okay. Back to the body layer, and then I kind of want to adjust the angle of her cleavage here. I feel like it's going a little bit too far to the side. Okay, that's fine. I actually do think it's worth spending a little bit of effort here. Just, I know where people look. This is the focal point, but let's be real, people are going to look down here too. Let's be real. So I'll spend a little bit of time getting there nice too. And that should help the overall quality of the image a little bit. I'll even kind of zoom in to clean it up a little because it's a little bit blurry. And there's just like this little triangle I'm trying to capture there. So there's like a dark part that's like almost a line. And then a dark part here that's a little bit lighter. It is a little bit more triangular. I think that's actually a little bit too light. So there we go. That should make it a little bit stronger there. Yeah, I still have it a little bit too light. Let's fix that. We have that, and then we have like the absolute blackness right in the middle. Okay, and then there's a light spot just right there. Kind of goes almost all the way up. Okay. There we go, that's a little bit better. Let's go ahead and do some more on her neck here. So there is a little crease kind of wrapping around here. Kind of showing how her neck is twisting. That's why I called it a little bit of an important one that I accidentally kind of erased over. No, it does not actually connect to her jaw. I see it comes out of her jacket. It's kind of like just right there. And I just need to kind of blend it in a bit better and make the area around it a little bit darker. It's less that I have it unblended and more that the contrast was a little bit too strong. Because the area around here is actually pretty dark. And I just have it a little bit too light. Just a little bit there. Go ahead and put some of that back. I feel like I pulled it back a little bit too far. There we go. And then this I need to kind of blend out. Okay, I'll come work down here a little bit more too. There's just a little spot on the shirt that actually does something a little bit more like that. This part kind of comes up here like this, and otherwise I think that's okay. Oh yeah, and I should draw the other jacket button here. Let's also make this a little bit rounder now that I have the size about right. And the other one is like right here. Just sitting there. Okay, that is definitely too light. So I'll go ahead and darken it, and let me adjust its angle just a touch. There. There we go. I'm shaving off a little bit off the top here because I felt like it was a little bit too big. But otherwise, I think we're good. Okay. Got a little button there. And I think that's fine for what it is. I guess I'll clean up behind the button here just a little. This area is... yeah, I mean, it's getting there. I'll just clean up this whole little collar here. It's reasonably close to her face. You can see that I'm not going to be very precise about it. This is getting kind of far away. So I don't need to get very smooth. I'll go ahead and clean up all my brush strokes here with an airbrush. Just get this just a little smoother. Okay. And let's see, I guess I'll just clean up the collar over here. We have the one on this side and you know, the one over here. I can kind of make some of this all a little bit smoother. Yeah, and this dark part was part of this layer, so I can kind of pull that back a little. Get it going out there a little better. Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of getting some of these smaller things in, and I do think it's making things look a little bit nicer. A little bit. Just a little. But I don't really plan on pushing it that far, and in fact, even this much I think is probably fine. So I might take a look at that knife. Yeah, let's go take a look at the knife. The knife, I think, is the third most important point. Maybe the second, but I know how VTuber fans are, so it's probably the third. So let's just go ahead and make some of this smooth. I think I had the values on it pretty okay. So now at this point, it's just kind of smoothing some things out. I could smooth the outline a little. I could probably use it. At least at this tip. I want this tip to look a little bit sharper. So if I bring this to a point, I think that's probably sufficient. I mean, I could do way more if I was so inclined. Like I said, I don't think it's that important. And I'm not sure if I feel like spending a bunch of time smoothing out a gradient here. So I'll do a little bit. Look at it a little bit nicer. Okay. There we go. And now I'll just, you know, smooth out the various gradients on here. This is a little bit darker than what I have, I think. Yep, just a little. I'm gonna straighten this just a touch. Being very careful while I cut into this. Okay. Yeah. Now let's work on the blade just a little. I see there's like a darker spot up at the top here. And then I guess that there's some, I don't know, I'm guessing it's like branding text and stuff, but I don't know what it's supposed to be, so I'll just lop something in. No, that's a bad angle. And then there's like a little bit over here and like a something. Looks good to me. I'm being so much more careless out here than I was on the head, but you know, this seems fine. Blend in some of the shapes there. This way that part doesn't look quite so prominent. Okay, and let's go ahead and get some of the darker spots on the back of the knife here. My highlight is definitely too bright. I just needed something there to help me out. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, I think this was worth doing. It helped. It definitely did. And now my image will look just a little bit stronger. I still really like looking at the thumbnail. It makes me very happy. It really does. I think it looks great. Okay. And then there's like tiny light spots and all this darkness here. And tiny dark spots and all this lightness here. So something like that should give the impression well enough for how much I'm rendering this. Let's go ahead and work on the hand a little. Mostly smoothing here. Mostly just a bit of smoothing. But it should make things look a little bit less unfinished. Just a little, and then maybe I'll even put the little dark spot around the thumbnail. Actually, I should do that with this brush. And the tip of the finger. And then on the jacket, I can even capture this light spot near the thumb. Here, I just kind of have it vanishing all into darkness. Which is fine. It was fine for what I had before. But with a little bit more hand detail, you know, I might as well capture this as well. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the hand and kind of smooth out some of the stuff I got here. But I think once I'm relatively happy with the hand, I think that'll be it. And that'll be as far as I push this one. Her nails are quite short. I'm actually a little surprised. I wonder if she does something that requires her to have short nails. Okay, that's a nicer little thumb. I'm just gonna clean up some edges here. And from there, I'll do a little bit on the hand part. Clean up some edges here too. All very important. Hands are another thing that's pretty important, so. I'm just checking the angles on her knuckles here. I feel like this one's a little bit straighter, and then there's a dark spot right back here. And then a light spot on this finger. And then this, I think, is lighter than what I have. Oh, no, not really. I think I have it pretty okay, actually. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Okay, let me fix the angle on the finger. I think that is the one complaint I have. You can see on the actual it goes more like this. In mine it points downward. So let mine point upward like it should. And then I see that there's a little shadow on the knuckles here. Just a small shadow there. But very much perceptible. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all right. It's like the hand wasn't really my focus there. If it was, I would have tilted the thumb because right now I have it pointing a slightly different direction. But you know what? I think I'm good. I think I have gotten what I wanted out of the study, so that seems like a good time to just kind of stop. I don't think it's one-to-one accurate. Like, I don't think the chin and the cheek is 100% correct. I don't think my values are completely correct everywhere. But I think it looks like her. And I think it's proportionate. Everything is kind of where it belongs. I have the biggest value groups pretty okay. At most, I think I might have made her lips a little bit thin. Actually, if I see that, I still have a few minutes. I can go back and correct that. I can correct the lips being a little bit thin. That's a facial feature. I see, that's why that part is always weird, because I never actually drew there. That's just from the face. Let's see, how do these lips look? Yeah, pretty flat through here, actually. Pretty flat right through there. No wonder her lips looked a little thin. Okay, yeah, that's a little better. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, naturally I didn't worry about getting her hair texture entirely correct. It wasn't really my focus. Hair can take a very long time to render if you're trying to do it very realistically, and I didn't want to spend a week doing that. And you know, if I spent another two weeks on this, maybe 3, I could probably get it like super hyper realistic, but you know what? I think I'm good. I think it looks really good. So I'll probably post this on Twitter and some of the places where I don't like post finished work and whatnot. And I will just end it there and start something new next week. So the new schedule should be out today or early tomorrow morning, depending on when I remember to do it. Yeah, I guess I'll start another character design, and I am still asking for kinds of stuff that you guys would like to see. Like if you guys, I'll ask directly in my schedule post here, but if you guys would like to see some original characters and stuff, I can try. And if you guys prefer the fandom stuff where I can actually kind of show you what I'm drawing, then I will keep doing that. I like doing that. That's one of the big things when I'm out drawing is just... sorry, I just noticed that the angles of my knife were so bad. Because I wasn't paying that much attention to them, but I have apparently decided that they deserve a little bit more attention. But yeah, I do try to use things that I think people will be at least somewhat familiar with. Because it makes it a little bit easier for me to explain what I'm thinking. And I won't necessarily be able to do that if I'm doing an original. But I can do an original that I have drawn images of before, so I've got a couple that fit the bill there. So I guess the knife is getting a little bit more detail. Don't worry about it. I make these decisions sometimes. It's all good. I've got a little bit of time, so I can do that. It was bothering me. Okay. Here we go. That's better. Okay. Oh, there we go. But this time I'm putting down my pen, and I'm going to call it done. So thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow.